Wow, everybody paid attention to that, didn't they? I'd like to call the meeting to order. If you would, all those that are able to stand, please do so to say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Chenoweth is absent this evening. She sends her regrets that she had plans that prevented her from being here.
All right, approval of the agenda. I have one addition that we'd like to add, and that's that Judy and Cooper and Kim Viner, the bus director, interviewed a new employee. Kim doesn't have anybody to give her a break, so she's pretty much on her own. No ability to get time off when she needs it, so we need to add somebody that they can fill in. So I'd like to add that item is item G under new business. So that's.
And were we gonna do the thing with the fire dispatch contract?
We can we?
Yeah, it's not
you
on
take
the
it off?
agenda. We never added it because we
Okay.
didn't have it.
Okay, why don't you, we'll add one more item, H. It's, contract with the county for fire dispatch. Okay. And that's, we got that documentation or?
Possible budget amendments, no? Or they just follow
They'll be part of the
E and F?
E and F.
Okay.
The question was any budget amendments, those are listed under items E and F. Possible budget amendments are in there.
Right. Okay.
It should be a separate item, though.
They are.
We can do them as separate motions.
But that's not on the agenda. A budget amendment is not on the agenda, and if you want that on, I suggest you add that as a separate item and put it.
All right, we'll add the budget amendments. That's item I.
There's two of them now.
Well, budget amendments,
Okay.
plural.
Okay.
All right, motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Support?
Moved and supported. Vote, please.
All right. Mr. Howe?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
All right, consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I would move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support?
Moved and supported. Vote, please.
Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
All right, announcements and information. Huron Valley Egg Hunt is this Saturday, March 24th, 10 o'clock a.m. at Duck Lake Pines Park. Did any of you guys, when you were little kids, participate in the egg hunt out there at the park? It's one of the most amazing things that I've ever seen. I'm going to round up these kids, and we're going to go out to M59, and we're going to clean M59 because I know they can do it in 3 minutes. And you watch them pick up all those eggs. So if you haven't seen it, you need to get out there at 10 o'clock. It's a lot of fun, even for adults to watch it. So, Township office will be closed on Friday, March 30th in observance of Good Friday. Curbside compost pickup begins Friday, April 6th. The next item is public comment. And public comment, I want everybody to know that you need to stand at the podium. You need to give your name and address, and you will have 3 minutes to present what you need to present. We have a timer here and it'll go ding and then you know your time's up. So at this point, anybody have any public comment? Yes, sir.
My name is Jim Pearson. I'm at 632 Timber Ridge in Highland. Some of you, well, all of you know me. I am a recently elected school board member for Huron Valley Schools several months back in November of 16. And I've recently been designated as the liaison from the school board to the Township board. And I'm not sure what that means. There's no job description. I will say that I'm a 41-year veteran of Highland Township and a 33-year veteran of Huron Valley Schools teaching as well. But one reason and I know my time's running out, one reason I am so tardy getting here is that I really dove in to my job as a school board member to take a look at school funding. And that's taken me a while. It's an extremely complicated topic. But with respect to coming here as a liaison to the board, I thought I should study township funding. And I was able to read some things from SEMCOG and so forth, and I found what I kind of expected, that your funding from the state is almost as disastrous as the school funding from the state. And one thing I would like to point out perhaps is that our school funding has slipped to 34th out of 50 states in the country. As you might expect, our road funding has slipped from whatever it was down to 50th of 50 states, and that certainly shows up. But I would suggest that school funding in particular is pretty close to the road funding. We are really struggling, and I have some evidence here that from the Senate Fiscal Agency that the proposed budget for next year for the first time will take $1 billion out of the school aid fund and spend it on other state expenses. And it's a lot. And we should be, in Huron Valley Schools, to just keep up with inflation, we should be about $2,000 more per student per year, just to be up with inflation since the recession began in '07. So, and I see very similar things with township funding. And I think maybe we should work together some more. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's pretty sad when potholes take precedence to education. All right, any other public comment? All right, we're going to move on to the first item, pending business. We're going to open some requests for proposals for the fire department, and while Tammy and Mr. Salvia are doing that, we're going to do a presentation with the fire chief.
I'm your comedic relief for the next few minutes, just while they're doing the opening.
You're on. You got 3 minutes. No, I'm good. Go. Oh, next.
Thank you. All right, I've been here since August of 16. Since getting here, I evaluated our buildings. All 3 buildings, we have no exhaust removal systems in the 3 apparatus bays. Diesel exhaust, diesel particle, particulate matter exposure causes long-term cardiovascular, cardiopulmonary, and respiratory diseases. And we have nothing to combat those currently in our structures. No secondary egress in our, and we'll get to a little more of this later on down the road. No secondary egress out of our dorms. At Station 1, we do staff that station 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with 2 personnel, so that if somebody does call for an emergency, we get them out there as quick as possible. The station being 50 years old, it wasn't designed for this type of operation. The staff did a great job creating a facility to house them, but it doesn't meet fire code. OSHA compliance, our overhead doors, we have no safety switches on them, again, because of the age of the building. Lack of storage. Our water system, we live off of bottled water. Equipment decontamination area. I've seen bloody stuff and fire masks cleaned in our kitchen sink, the same sink that we wash dishes in, because we have no other area to clean it in. PPE storage is in the bay. Structural age of the building for the changing fire service. It served us well for 50 years. Unfortunately, we've outgrown the current properties. Taking a few pictures of the stations. This is Station 1 off of Livingston Road. It was built in 1969. This is our hose tower where we dry our fire hose at. It's packed with some storage. We just have no place to put it.
Is this what happens when you have a fireman plug himself into electricity? Is it
Yeah, he's neon fireman. That's our rescue ranger that we use for training and physical agility tests. This is walking into our apparatus bay. Walking into our dorms off our apparatus bay. This is one door in. This is one of the dormitories. As you can see, it's cinder block all the way through. If we had any issues with one of the trucks catching fire in the middle of the night, my staff's stuck. They have no way out of the property. This is some of the storage. Again, our trucks are getting bigger. We're providing more services, running more call volume. In order to provide that service, we've had to make do with what we have right now. This is one of our main storage areas. This is a SCBA fill area. We also have a oxygen cascade system on the other side of the compressor, plus all our EMS storage and some of the supplies. Radio room, you can't really see it from the back, but our floors have been used so that there's no floor left in it. We've done our best to upgrade our system. This is an LED light to replace some of the old lighting. This is a multi-purpose room, day training, kitchen, dining, blah, blah, blah. Again, we got some beds in there because we have Star EMS housed out of our station, so they sleep in the same area that we have dinner and do our training in. Station 2, same thing, it was built in the 60s. They put an addition on it in 1969. You can see the cinder blocks are starting to crumble, break away from the building. Same thing, my staff does a great job making things work for us when we need it. You'll see a couple holes in here. We had some updated lighting put into the station just to be able to see as we're reading stuff. Some of the floors worn away in the boiler room. That's just more, it's just one area that we have all of our ancillary projects going on in this station. It's just the one room and then the apparatus bay. Next. Again, current facility, Station 1, built in 69. It's a total of 6,160 square feet, including the apparatus bays. It sits on 0.83 acres. Station 2 was built in the early 60s. There was an addition put on in 69 for the apparatus bays. The way I understand it, the new addition is put over our septic field, and it's on 0.3 acres. Where do we go from there? I didn't know where to start. I mean, there was so much money that I need to put into the buildings to make them compliant for the community. I didn't know where to start, so I had to reach out and find a company to come in. We had a company come in and do an assessment on our properties. As they're doing the assessment, they asked what we would need for, pretty early on in the assessment, they could see that there's no way we can operate on the properties we're in. 0.83 acres, we don't have sufficient parking for paid-on-call firefighters to respond to the station and park. We're parking on school property, we're parking in township property and sheriff's property. And again, the 0.3 acres, even worse. So they came in, they could see pretty quick that there wasn't the proper facilities there. The money we put into it wouldn't be well spent. So they started asking us, what would you like in a new station? Well, we gave them our wants. The next couple slides just shows the different wants. 7,200 square feet for apparatus bay.
You want that back on the other one?
No, it's fine. I think they're done now. 7,200 square feet in apparatus bay plus administration. A lot of the stuff that they put in there was redundant. You can go ahead. EMS supply rooms in both stations, training rooms in both stations. A lot of stuff that was redundant that we didn't need in both stations. Go to the. So they came up with, we need a 21,000 square foot main station with all of our wants in it at a total price of $7,600,000. Station 2 was a 16,000 square foot station at a total price of $5.6 million. It came up with $13,225,000 total for the project, not including property. That's not practical. That's not even something our community could support. With this number shocking me as it did, we set up a committee of firefighters in our department to go out and research different departments, research different operations, see what we actually need as a fire department. On our committee is Captain O'Neill. Raise your hand. He's been here for 147 years. Rob Young has been here for 4 years, 5 years, 3 years, somewhere there. 2 years? No, whatever. He was one of our explorers, went to Milford for a while, now he's back with us. Haley Kenworthy, who's out of Station 2, and then Cord Smith from Station 1, and then myself, of course. We went out, we talked to all the different departments, and we talked about what our needs are. We need to be near a municipal water supply. In the other presentation, or the other information, they were talking about 280 square foot office for myself and Assistant Chief Cole. Just numbers that weren't practical for a system. 12 by 12 office, 12 by 20 multi-purpose rooms, which are shared offices, hoteling stations, vestibules, training room, able to seat a department similar to our size. We visited Wayne, Milford, Springfield, Commerce, Birmingham, Waterford, Independence Township. We looked at a bunch of different setups, different sizes, found out what they thought, what they liked, what they thought we would what worked out well for them. And then we tried to plan something for a 50-year life. Just like our current buildings now, they've served us for 50 years. If we ask you guys to build us anything, it'll be based off a 50-year life of the building. Are we going to be looking at additional staffing down the road? Are we going to look at tankers at each stations? A Quinton tower at one of our stations if they ever develop 59 and increase growth in the community. Station 1, instead of 21,000 square feet, which was admin and suppression side, we got it down to 11,500 square feet. Go ahead for the next one. Plus 3,500 square feet for administration, which would be the fire chief, assistant chief, so on and so forth, for a total square foot of 15,000. Station 2, again, eliminating some of the redundancies that they had in the partner's proposal. We got it down to about 8,000 square feet. I'm trying to hurry up here. Long story short, for Fire Station 1 headquarters, 15,000 square feet is more than sufficient. 8,000 square feet for a substation is more than sufficient. In the partners' proposals, they had $250 a square feet and $240 a square feet for construction costs. We base it at $350 because those conceptual estimates didn't have property or anything else in there. We took it from 13 million without the property down to about 8 million for an expected total project cost. These guys did a ton of work, a ton of research. They put a ton of time into finding out what we need. That's still a large number, I understand that. But as our service, what we provide to the community, in 1969 we were running approximately 200 runs a year. Last year we turned 1,400 runs. We're getting busier and busier, it's not going to slow down at all. So that's why we've gotten to the point of going out for RFQs. It's in your guys' hands now. I'm here. Any questions you have?
Could you sort
I'm
of,
sorry. Ken Chapman, 250 West Livingston.
that's not where you live.
Have you seen my truck out there all the time? Pretty much where I live.
What about the process that we're gonna go through for the next couple weeks?
The way I understand it is, you guys opened up the RFPs tonight. I'm gonna pull that information together. The RFQ proposal had a standard format of information that they want. So now I gotta pick that format out of each of the proposals. I'll make the presentation to, I would think probably the committee that sat with partners during the assessments. And then we'll have a couple meetings.
Pat, I think.
Find out who's gonna be, making a short list. How many do we get, 5?
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yep, 5. And I
We
have-
determine a short list, probably the top 3 candidates, provide, do a couple interviews with them, see how they stack up, and then I would think the committee would come back and make a recommendation to the board.
And that recommendation will be at the April board meeting, so this is gonna be high-speed,
Yes.
speed dating on steroids here, so.
And
Right.
then once, if the board approves, then I'm gonna start asking to hold some town hall meetings in my buildings and get the input from the community.
All right. For those that don't know, there's a midterm election, and at this time period is where the chief would be asking for millage, the police will be asking for, to renew your millage, right? And so this is the time when, if you're going to make changes in your departments, this is where you need to do it so you can get your financing. The fire department has been at 1.4 mils for years. So they haven't really been taking, any big chunks out of, some people might feel it's a big chunk, but as I've used an example before, the average annual cost for the fire department per resident is, a residential unit is $140 a year. That's the same, our trash is a little bit more than that. So where's the value at? The value is, yeah, we need to get our trash out of our community, but we need that protection, fire protection, and especially the EMS and stuff that goes out. It's an incredibly valuable safety element in our community, and I think it's something that the public needs to really think about and support. So hopefully you spread the word and we'll get it started, and you'll be hearing more about this in the papers, and the chief will have his hands full. And
If you have any questions, my number's out there, 911, just give me a call.
Do you wanna read the list?
all right, so I'll read the list of people who sent in RFPs. So Anderson, Eckstein, and Westrick, Inc., The Daily Company, 5 Bugles Design, Oak City Contracting, and Partners in Architecture, PLC. So if any of the people who submitted bids are here, we're not going to deal with these tonight because we're going to have to spend the time to go through them, and I know you guys did a lot of work. I'm assuming you're from one of the company you're with?
I'm with Oak City Contracting.
Okay. Very nice to meet you. Your name?
Peter Cross.
Nice to meet you, Peter.
Pleasure to meet you.
So hopefully we'll be having that interview with you to go through this thing,
I
so
hope it will.
it'll be exciting.
Very much so.
So on that note, we'll move on to the next item, because we can't make a decision on that right now. So the next item is lawn maintenance contract. I brought forward a proposal for Freedom Works at the last board meeting on some assumptions that we had discussed during our budget meetings, and the board asked me to bring back some other additional quotes. So we contacted as many people as we could get on the phone and through email in the area, and we got a sum total of 2 people interested, and we received quotes to do so. So on your in your packet, you'll see that Freedom Work Opportunities was $585 per week. S&D Seasonal Services LLC was $788 per week. GLC Landscaping LLC with their discounts, which you'd have to look at their documents to see where they come from, was $708.75 per week. So on that note, I will make a motion that we approve to contract with Freedom Work Opportunities, Inc. for mowing surfaces for all of Township-owned properties as detailed in Freedom Work proposal attached to this memorandum for the amount of $585 per mow per week, not to exceed 28 weeks, and the total amount due of $16,380 beginning no sooner than April 1st, 2018.
Support?
Okay, moved and supported. Vote, please.
I vote yes.
Yes.
Yes, but I wanna make a point that next time we gotta do this the right way and do closed bids on that.
Pardon me?
We should do this the right way next time and do closed bids so that when
Yes,
we
ma'am.
have the opportunity to know what the other one's bidding.
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
All right, next item. New business. This is a resolution to approve application for industrial facilities tax exemption certificate from Midwest Glass Fabricators. Should we
And
refer to you?
you should have, see if anyone wants to be heard on this. I believe the clerk sent notice to the other taxing entities that would be affected if this tax exemption certificate was approved by you and issued by the State Tax Commission. And per the statute and the notice that was sent, the other taxing entities have an opportunity to be heard on this at this hearing before you take any action.
Oh, batteries just died.
Have we received any?
No, we have not received any.
There's been no response or
You should
comments.
inquire if anyone.
Is there anybody in the audience that is here to make comment about the tax abatement?
That would be the shortest hearing you've ever held.
Hearing open, hearing closed.
Can you tell us how much that means to the township? What kind of taxes we are giving away on that?
We're not giving away, we're gaining. The misconception
Tax abatement,
is,
I wanna know how much we would have collected if we didn't issue this tax abatement. That's what I wanna know.
I don't know that we have that amount yet.
I don't have that information and this isn't working right. I can get that to you.
I would like to know that, yeah.
Okay.
That's assuming that if the abatement wasn't given, that the facility would still be built.
Right.
We were under the impression that the business owner had an opportunity to build in another state, and if the abatement was not granted, there's a good chance that that facility would not be built in our community.
So there'd be no additional tax.
Also, then that's the way out, you know, we're gonna not get in this increase in order to keep them here, but I wanna know that number. You know, I think it's important for the public, the taxpayers to know that number too.
Yeah.
Yes, Gary?
Well, if I may, I mean, the general rule of thumb is the industrial facilities tax abatement tax will be approximately 50% of what the otherwise applicable taxes would be.
Okay.
And until it's built and the value is assessed, it's hard to peg it with a number exactly, but it's general rule of thumb. When it's all done, the tax paid for the period of the abatement will be approximately half of what the otherwise applicable taxes would be.
So we know what that rough idea of how much that building's gonna cost and what the taxes would be on it, so we can get a general idea of the number. That's really what I want. But not from you.
I would say,
But the other hand is the fact that by putting a new facility together, even if we're getting half the revenue, we're still ahead because we're getting
Oh, sure.
new revenue. So
Sure.
it's still a win, even though we're not getting as
Exactly.
much as we might have got, we still got more coming in than we did have before.
Yes, you're right.
Okay.
All right.
So, on the table, we've passed out some revised documents from what was in the packet. There were some real little small changes made. One was to point out the fact that the name of the property owner is a holding company that is leasing to Midwest Glass, so that change was made in the most final revision. Go ahead.
I was looking at the handout on my chair, the agreement, which is Exhibit D at the very back.
Okay.
At least my attachment does not have the most recent revision, which added the owner to the agreement.
Right, because that was just printed at 6:15, and this was printed at noon
So
today.
I wanted to just point that out, and for the board's benefit,
Right.
when I realized that there was an owner different than the applicant for the certificate, I recommended that we have the owner also be a party to the agreement. The law that this is proceeding under allows the owner of property or the lessee of property to apply for and receive a tax exemption certificate. So while Midwest Glass is still the applicant, in my opinion, the townships should have the owner as a party to the agreement, since some of the remedies under the agreement, if Midwest Glass doesn't follow through on its commitments, would involve a lien on the property. And I'm not confident with the enforceability of a lien on property if the owner hasn't agreed to it. So that's what I'm referencing. There's an updated agreement that I don't know if I sent it to all of you, but
I printed it for everybody at the table. I didn't get a copy over to
so
you.
with that, the resolution, ink is kind of fresh even, is set to go. If there is someone inclined to move to adopt the resolution, I have some language I'd recommend you use.
I'd like to just make something clear before we get there. One of the owners is sitting here.
Right.
Would you like to clarify who the owner of the property is so they
Yeah, that would be
understand?
me. Yeah.
So it's
That's
a
their own
family-owned
yeah.
group that owns the land, and
Right.
it's the same family that runs the operation, and I'm sure it's for financial purposes that there's a split in the ownership and so on and so forth. So the accountants are the ones that have made the decision that
Right.
lease it, so
Right.
makes sense. So that's just for general public to understand
same
that it's
people,
not
yeah.
somebody out in Vegas that owns that piece of
All the
land.
same players.
And it is a family, but there's a potential for issues that could occur.
Right.
So we want to make sure we cover that. So you
Absolutely.
get it. You're fine with that.
I am.
Of course, I'm asking you to speak for your family
Yeah,
and
yeah.
other members, but so we'll have that as a part of it. So at this point, would you like to?
Is there anyone that wants to make a motion to adopt the resolution? Safe to say somebody might want
I'd
to?
be glad to do that.
You might want to use this language.
Okay, Judy, would you like to make a motion to?
Sure.
And it's not quite as long as the resolution. Anyway, motion to adopt Resolution 1806 with the understanding that the applicant for the tax exemption certificate, Midwest Glass Fabricators, Inc., has or will have a lease for the property from the owner, JPPM Holding LLC, that runs through the end of the 12-year period the certificate is approved for, with the clerk to defer submittal to the State Tax Commission until documentation of that lease has been received.
So moved.
And I will provide this language to the clerk's office in the morning.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion on it? I discussed it already, but all right, then we'll go for a vote, please.
Mr. Savia?
Yes.
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 And yes.
Motion carries.
All right, that's step one. So good luck on your venture. We appreciate it. All right, the next item, firefighter retirement payment for Doug Bourgeois for 21 years of paid on-call employment.
Can I briefly address this?
Please.
Earlier today, I provided the board with an email suggesting removal from the agenda. Since doing that, I've been provided with a policy approved by the Township Board in 2013 that alleviated my concerns. So I'm no longer suggesting removal from the agenda. Chief Chapman has confirmed that the retired fire marshal in question was a paid-on-call firefighter. That was the requirement, and the number of years of service matches up, and the dollar amount matches up. So my earlier concerns have been resolved.
Well, it sent us scrambling. And I have to hand it to Tammy, and
I have to prove to you that I look at the
she's-
agenda stuff.
she has it right there. Bang, we're on it. So on that note, Mr. Bourgeois is now the fire chief in Beaver Creek, Michigan, which is up near Houghton Lake area.
Just up there.
Yep. And spent 21 years here in Highland on the fire department. So he gets a whopping $100 per year, which is $2,100. So I guess we need to approve that.
Yep.
So a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Support?
Okay, moved and supported. Vote, please.
Mrs. McDonald?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Okay, the next item is, pass this stuff here. I'm gonna pass this off to the chief. This is about purchase of fire nozzles.
We are in the final processes of the new engine construction, which I've shared with each of the board, the updates that we get from Pierce Manufacturing. We're slowly, as you can tell from the last few board meetings, we're slowly getting the equipment for the vehicle. This is just to go along with that equipment for that vehicle. We are asking for a kind of a split part from the 402 that was allocated, $200,000 was allocated for outfitting the truck, plus for equipment from our normal operating budget to outfit the remaining vehicles. We have, last year we transitioned over to task force tips. We've outfitted about half of our fleet's equipment with the new nozzles. We'd like to finish off the implementation of the task force with the other vehicles, as well as outfit the new vehicle with the task force tips. Unfortunately, went above the allowed spending with our approval, so please.
If there's any questions about, we had this discussion earlier today about this particular product, and what happens is what the chief just described is we're trying to maintain a continuity of product, and task force tips.
Task force tips, yep.
They are a manufactured product, so there's multiple companies that carry that product, and all of the companies charge the same price. So it's kind of irrelevant to put quotes out for something where they all have the same price on it. You just have to pick your supplier. So if it had been, could you put other nozzles on? Yes, you could, but what happens is there's not always a continuity to the product. So I think that's the chief's description of it.
Yeah, the main issue is maintenance. If you have all the same products, maintenance is standard across the board. You get comfortable making repairs, making adjustments, or just standard PM.
Right now, some of these are adjustable nozzles or not?
They're all adjustable stream nozzles. There's 4.5" G-Force 75 PSI, 1 2.5" Blitz Force portable monitor, which is a ground monitor that we can set out and free staff up to do other operations, and then 3 2.5" adjustable stream nozzles, which are usually used for exposure protection.
So they either fan out or you can,
Yep,
yep.
but they flow a lot of water.
And the reason, and I'll give you the rationale behind the reason for having a common, you could break a part on one and not have to throw it away because you might break another part on another and you could combine parts on the product. If you have a bunch of different nozzles, then once a piece is broken, you have to pitch it. And so this gives you an opportunity to be able to actually prolong the life of something that may get drug on the pavement and could be repaired easily with parts.
We're
you
not
have
really
in here.
gentle when we play with stuff, so.
Yeah, it's a muddy mess, I know. So, on that note, motion to approve?
I would move to approve the purchase of nozzles for the fire department for a total amount of $6,732.50.
Support?
Moved and supported. Vote please.
Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Okay, the next item is gonna be a two-parter here. We need to approve the grant proposal for West Nile virus before we can sign a resolution to engage in the program. This is our program with the county. It's a full no-match grant that pays for the insect and mosquito wipes and dunks and stuff that we supply free here at the Township for anybody that needs them. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the West Nile virus grant application.
Support?
Okay, moved and double supported. A vote please.
Mr. Howe?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Okay, next item, resolution number 1807 to authorize West Nile virus fund expense reimbursement request. This is supplied by the county. It's something that the county needs in order for them to complete the process to reimburse us. So we would buy the product and we get reimbursed by the county. Motion?
I would move to approve resolution number 18-07 to authorize West Nile virus fund expense. Well, to authorize West Nile virus
Support.
stuff.
Moved and supported. Vote please.
I vote yes.
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 Motion carries.
Stuff carried. Next item, request for participation in the 2018 RCOC road gravel program. This is a two-part thing here. The first is to consider a motion to amend the budget in the amount of $39,613 to account 201-290. We are doing it to that, aren't we? Yes, no. Ignore the numbers. They're in a budget amendment that is attached here. That will.
The budget amendment was provided at the table. There's two on there. One is for this item and one is for the next budget item.
So,
We're doing those under item I, correct?
Right, but you can consider,
Under both at the same time.
so this, yeah, we're kind of doing stuff a little backwards on this, but we can't spend it or write a check for it until we amend the budget. But so, anyways, it's tri-party money, and what happened was is we had no numbers when we did the budget to calculate what tri-party would be. So the tri-party part of the budget was left blank, and we just were informed by the county that our share for the gravel is the $39,613. So
should we do the last paragraph there?
we'll do the last paragraph first. So I'll just make the motion here so we can keep it rolling. Need the motion to give the supervisor approval to sign the cost participation agreement for the 2018 gravel road program, Charter Township of Highland, board project number 5422 with RCOC. That's Road Commission of Oakland County.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. A vote, please.
Mr. Salvia?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
So that will be taken, that amendment will be taking place in under I, budget amendments. Okay, the next item is a request to participate in the 2018 RCOC Road Dust Control Program. Last year, we participated, and we chose to do 4 applications per year. And the county is requesting that if we would consider it to do 5 applications per year, and they gave me the rationale. And when first thought about it, I wasn't thinking about the way that the road commission does their work. The road commission rotates between communities. They'll start in South Lyon, and then they'll move their way north and go in a circle, and they have 6 different communities that they service out of the Duck Lake Service Center. So when it's time to grade roads, they start in South Lyon or Lyon Township, and they move their way north. Well, all of the other townships selected to have 5 applications of the dust control. Well, with the application of dust control, they grade it first, then they put the chloride on. Well, that divides the time frame into fifths, and then Highland comes along and is in fourths, and they don't adjust for that. So what they do is they leave a big open spot on us, and then the roads decline, and then we get road rage calls to our office that are, the roads have all gone crap, and we can't make that magic call and have them show up and fix it because it's not part of the cycle. So my recommendation is that I hope the board would consider moving to 5 applications. Now, understanding that the roads don't belong to Highland Township, but the majority of the population believes they're paying taxes to maintain our roads. And so I think that what happens there is it's kind of a permission slip on our part to say, hey, help us use our money, help us maintain our roads. We have a lot of dirt roads, miles of them. I think there's probably 70 miles of dirt roads. So it's a big project. So I would like the board to consider, in the memorandum, there's a couple of errors in that thing, so please ignore them. Don't know how they happened, but. So I would like to have the board consider continuing the Oakland County Dust Control Program. I'll make this a motion for 2018, and I recommend that we increase the program to 5 applications in the amount of $51,316.20.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Any discussion? Okay, on that note, the budget was originally, we need to vote, so let's vote on that.
Okay.
Sorry.
Mrs. McDonald?
Yes.
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 Motion
Okay,
carries.
because, the other thing I'd like to, there's also another motion we need to consider in here. I'd like to make the motion for the board to continue with our private road reimbursement program. The reimbursement will be 27 cents per lineal foot, or 50% of the total bill, whichever is less. That's a motion.
Mr. Hamel,
Yes, sir.
that references 27 per lineal foot. Is that impacted by the fact that you've chosen option 2 at 30.3375?
No, because
Okay.
it's actually what happens is it's 27 cents a lineal foot, and option 2, the way their sheet that they do their calculations on is confusing. It comes out to like $10,000 per application, and it's really at 27 cents per foot, but because there's 5 applications and they do it by the foot, there's that many more lineal foot that they cover, so that's where that cost number comes. It's pretty confusing, so
So Rick, what's the reason for increasing that,
they increased it on us. Oh, you mean the
On
the reimbursement?
reimbursement.
27 cents?
Yeah,
Because they increased the cost to us.
not to us, we don't pay that part.
She's talking about
Oh,
private
I
roads.
see what you're saying. That's what we're paying.
So originally, the 24 cents you're saying matched between what we would pay on chloride
Yes,
to road commission versus what we would reimburse for private road
Right.
reimbursement.
right,
And so since the road commission is going up, we're raising the
Correct.
private road reimbursement.
It's just we're just a wash.
What's that?
Just a wash, pretty much.
No, we don't.
Well, there's no wash when it comes to the private roads have to pay, and, it used to be that they had to pay the full amount, and they'd go hire somebody, and that's the way it works, they have to hire somebody, and on that note, Gary, there is a contract, and we did correct that date on that. They have to sign a contract with the township to, allow for, us to be able to spend, the taxpayers' dollar, or their tax money. How'd that work?
You're determining that the chloride treatment on the private roads is a legitimate public purpose, even though they're
Correct.
private roads. There are any number of public purposes served by doing that. So we have a contract with the person.
You need a copy of that, or you have a copy of it?
I sent you a contract last year. I sent it to you again today, just
Yeah,
updated.
I have the updated contract, which is just a
Before we
date.
get too far down the road, we have a motion, but not a second.
Support.
Okay, discussion, then Mary, you had a question about the,
I just wondered why it went up.
Yeah.
I see, because the county went up, you're
Right.
gonna reimburse.
right,
So it's the same.
okay, so, what do I do with my paperwork? Oh, nice. Okay, so we've got, need a vote on that?
Okay. Mr. Howe?
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, now, because of this long dissertation here, and that I recommended option 2 instead of option 1, which was 4 applications. When we did the budget, I based it on 4 applications and an estimation, and it was at, would have been $45,000 in the budget to cover that, which would have been enough to do both the 4 applications and the private, pay for the private, but because we're doing the 5th one, we need to make a budget amendment to compensate for that. So, that'll be done at the end of the, under I. All right, so we covered those. All right, next item is G, bus employee. Kim Viner, the director for the bus program, I mentioned a little earlier today. I'm gonna read our proposal here. Kim is requesting it be approved at tonight's board meeting to hire Laura Slack as a full-time office assistant driver for the transportation program to start April 2nd at $13.50 per hour pending the background check and drug test. She was interviewed by Judy Cooper and Kim just 2 days ago.
Yep.
She's got an associate degree in business, is Microsoft certified, manages 7 business Facebook pages for 7 Great Clips salons. Very eager and willing to learn all aspects of the transportation program. They feel that she would be a good fit for the program, a reliable replacement for her Kim for when she's out of the office or on vacation. Right now, Kim can no longer accumulate vacation time because she's reached her maximum, and she cannot use it without someone in the office. So we need to keep it running efficiently, and there is money in the budget to do that. And Judy, you want to explain that, or do you want Kim to explain it? You received a.
Well, if you have the spreadsheet here, and I'll defer to Kim whenever we get stuck here. So the first column is the grants awarded. The second column is the amounts used, and the last column is cumulative on the bottom, what's available. And Kim, maybe you want to describe the difference between the preventive, mobility, and operations.
The preventative can only be used for maintenance for the buses and for hardware and software purchases for computers. The mobility, it was it continues to be renewed for an office assistant position. It also covers any advertising, our extra trips that we do, such as the fish fries, the summer concerts, that kind of stuff. Providing a bus for the senior center, and then the operations is for everything else that is covered in our budget. Preventative pays at 100%, mobility pays at 100%, operations we have the match of 50-50. Basically, under mobility, it would pay 100% of the assistant's salary, and then 50% of her benefits would come from the operations side, and the other 50% would be coming through our match, which we already collect through fairs, donations, municipal credit, specialized services, etc. We average right now $21,000 reimbursement from operations per quarter, and based on that, we have about 9 quarters remaining in the operations grants for the entire program. I'm going to be reapplying in September for further funding to carry us out even longer.
So is this a new position or a replacement?
It's a new in the fact that it's a full-time position, but it's a replacement position. As you can remember, back in December, I hired 3 positions. 2 were half office, half driver, and then a full driver, all of which were part-time positions. I have since lost one of the driver/office people. The other person who is an office/driver person, she's okay for general office, but she doesn't have the computer. She's not computer savvy. We're about to upgrade to a whole new computer system that's going to tie everything together, that we work with all of our databases and everything. I really need somebody who, if I'm gone, I know it can be handled. If I have to leave to go to a meeting, I don't have to explain what to do or what needs to be covered. Unfortunately, I had a great person like that, Crystal, before she left, but so this is basically where it stands, is I need somebody in that office that can run this in my absence.
And you're saying all of the cost of this is covered with your grants?
With the grants and with what we take in our budget.
And that money's coming in like it was projected to?
Yes. Yes, and we still have $325,000 that's allocated to us through the grants alone, that's going to come in within the next 3 years.
I checked with the auditors just to make sure that we don't run into any issues, and the way this is handled is the township makes loans to the bus program. The bus program pays back with the grant money, because grants always work backwards. You have to spend it and then you get reimbursed. So there's no glitches that would occur, and everything, they said everything looks like it's a good fit, so we shouldn't have any problems with it.
I like the idea of a full-time person, because I think we need to encourage somebody to stay and have that kind of investment in that position. So I think it's a
Part-time turnover's
definite.
not good.
It's not.
No.
No, it's not, and it's really difficult because, like, the person right now, she works Monday, Tuesday, and Fridays, and she works someplace else Wednesday and Thursdays. So, say I have a funeral to go to on a Wednesday or Thursday, what am I gonna do? I can't call her in, and I can't miss a funeral.
So what happens is we have bus dispatching occurring back in the corner with Kim on the phone, making things work from a funeral.
I've done that.
Like somebody to make a motion, please, to approve.
I'll make motion to support the hiring full-time person.
Okay.
And let's say up to 37.5 hours per week.
What's that, 37.5, up to
And the-
37.5.
At what rate?
At 13.50, is it?
$13.50 per hour.
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Vote, please.
Okay. Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
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 Motion carries.
Okay, I want to add something in there because we're on the bus conversation. We've been contacted by Walled Lake, who is an opt-in community with the bus program, with the SMART program. And their program is between $140,000 and $170,000 a year. They have, in their office, they have 3 full-time people and 3 interns. And they're trying to run their program with the people that are trying to run their city. And it'd be like Judy and Tammy and I taking turns trying to schedule this bus for their seniors, and it's crazy. So anyways, the chief financial officer for the city of Walled Lake called us and asked us if we would please take over the operations of their program, which we looked into all the details on it. The SMART program said, please, you can move the money, you can take the money, you can use the buses. So what this has done is, and it's kind of ironic because there's an even bigger picture to all of this. The opportunity now makes a multi-community, which we did have at one time, and I had hoped it would have stayed together, but didn't. I think we can get it back together in the future. It makes a multi-community operation of a system that makes sense to reduce the amount of overhead, have a more singular operation center, and maximize the use of the dollars that way. Because what happens is, in their budget, they had numbers like $22,000 for a phone system. You know, ooh, wow, you know, I'd like to, that's an expensive phone system. But, you know, their budget has all these things that replicate stuff that we have. We don't have $22,000 phone system. So those monies can then be allocated to rides. And it decreases the cost for ridership. And so what it does is when you pool the resources, more people can use the facilities. And then when you have an operation that is managed in a way that connects all of that, more people benefit from it. So at that same time, Judy and Kim and myself and Rick Colwall and his assistant from White Lake also contacted us and talked to us about their bus program. They're connected with Commerce and Wolverine Lake. So if you look at the big picture, everybody touches everybody. So if you can get everybody to work together and have one management team, you start to develop something we talked about originally, which is an authority. So at some point you develop an authority, the system goes on its own, has a director, a board of directors. It isn't controlled by individual township boards. It's kind of meant to be put on its own. Well, at a current meeting on Monday with Oakland County supervisors, Oakland County Economic Development Group came in and they said, we want to talk to all of the SMART bus operators and look at what can we do together. So it's kind of they're coming in from a different end. They're coming in from the RTA, the Regional Transit Authority, which is going to be on the ballot for this November. If the Regional Transit Authority passes, Highland Township would be required to have a 1.5 mil fee to our taxpayers for a bus system that we don't even get to use. And there'd be no buses coming out here, there'd be nothing that would happen. So Oakland County is trying to modify that program. If it should pass, $30 million would stay in Oakland County. And they're looking at these smaller connectivity and how could we make that work. So we're in a very interesting position right now. We only charge 0.6 mils in property taxes now. So 1.5 mils, double what you're paying now, would be there for Wayne and Macomb County to build their $1 billion train ride to Ann Arbor. We need a system, but I think one of the things that has been very clear to Kim and myself and some of these other people is there's a bus system sitting right in every community, and it has direct access to every door. Smart can't do that on its own. It can go to a stop, scheduled stop, but how do you get there? So we already have a system. All we have to do is tie the pieces together. Instead of having a bunch of octopuses out there trying to all run at the same time, shrink the management, expand the dollars out to go to the system. Now you've got your connection and you didn't have to charge 1.5 mils. And you can work on the same money that everybody's already bringing in. Then you can start to build opportunities to be able to look at more grant money to come towards that. And I think the RTA may have a different look at how things can happen. So this bus thing, which has been a potential nightmare to a lot of people and has been pretty rough on Kim and I in terms of trying to maintain a direction. I think that it has a lot of positive potential for outcome. And I think we can do it without raising anybody's taxes, and I think that's the key. So if you are a voter and you see that RTA come up, Oakland County will benefit nothing from it. But Wayne and Macomb will, and they'll take the majority of the money out of it. So we need to be thinking about that. Now that I did hear something recently that he may be considering pulling the train, but we'll see what happens. So if that's the case, then that might change numbers and figures, but still, I think there'll probably be a lot of kickback. It only lost by 18,000 votes, 49% last time. So depends on the initiative and how people think about mass transit. Maybe a different position. So we'll move on now. Gary?
When you reference Wayne and Macomb, do you mean to say Wayne and Washtenaw?
No.
I think it's
I understood Macomb County was opposed to the regional transit.
Ann Arbor's in Washington.
It's Wayne, Macomb, Washtenaw, Oakland.
But again, only
Yeah,
related
I mean,
what I hear on the news, it's been my understanding that the county executives of Macomb and Oakland counties,
they're pushing.
are
Yeah,
opposed.
they're pushing back. They're opposed on it. I misspoke. I mean,
That's why
but,
that just,
but they would benefit more from it. But you're correct. Wayne and Washtenaw are the ones that are, because the airport's in Wayne and Ann Arbor, Washtenaw. And so I don't, but the weird thing is the train wouldn't even go to the airport, so you're still not working right. But, so anyways, enough on that. So please stay tuned, and hopefully we can make something happen out of this bus thing, because the irony is the bus is not limited to seniors only. We just don't get reimbursed for people under 55 for their rides. So at some future point, or at any point in time, anybody that's 55 or older, you need a ride, call the bus program and they'll come to your door and pick you up for a small fee. So $7 round trip,
Within the local area.
except they're not going to Mackinac on that one. So, all right, so moving on. Thank you, Kim, for your hard work. The next item, H, is the fire dispatch nightmare.
This is the one I had emailed out to the board on Monday. And with the back and forth today, we don't have a copy printed here at the table for you, but if you reference your email, it's the one with the subject of 2018 to 2021 dispatch agreement. And Gary had some thoughts about that. And so we weren't sure if we were going to try to tackle it or not. And so we can figure that out.
support.
Yes, sir.
The agreement that's been presented has a start date of April 1st, meaning this is your last regular meeting at which you could consider this. We have an existing agreement that I didn't see until today, but I looked at it, and it looks, if not identical, awfully close to what you now have before you for the next 3-year term. My comments provided, I think yesterday, were to identify a handful of changes I was recommending. It's my belief and understanding that the County Board of Commissioners has already approved the form of the agreement that's been presented to you. From past experience in dealing with the County Corporation Counsel's office, once the County Board of Commissioners has approved an agreement, it's very unlikely that they will consider an amendment. I believe the dispatch services run fine. So, you know, my comments on the agreement are not reflective of dissatisfaction with service. So I think you're probably left with the need to approve the agreement as presented, and Tammy's prepared a resolution that would do that. I do have some recommended language to add to that, if you looked at my changes and thought they made any sense. So you have a draft resolution that has to approve the dispatch service agreement. My suggestion would be that that be item 1 of the approval, followed by a second. This would be, say, to approve the changes to the agreement recommended by the township attorney and request the county to agree to an amendment to make those changes. So you've approved the agreement as presented, but you're on record saying we'd like to amend it. They may or may not. So,
But they may also read it and go, oh,
right.
we forgot that word and left this out. And
I'm surprised that a few of the things I identified were carryovers, but at any rate, that's,
Just saying.
okay,
so that would be one way to deal with it, rather than, you know, just, or you can just approve it as is and figure, you know, Gary was being overly critical, and
So that should that be one motion?
it'd be one motion.
With 2 parts. Okay, so the motion would be to approve the,
As presented. Tammy's resolution, that would be item 1, and then
Okay.
item 2 would be the language I just provided.
are you getting this motion there?
And I can provide that language in the morning as well.
Okay. So we're gonna go on, Gary's recommendation is my motion to follow what our attorney recommends. So that's a motion.
Support?
And the motion is to approve the Oakland County dispatch agreement, and secondly, ask the county to amend it.
Yes,
Yep.
in essence. But you're approving it. You're not like conditioning your approval on them agreeing to amendments. They're two separate
It's been my
things.
experience, the county isn't gonna want to amend it.
That's been my experience. I don't know how many communities go on record, you know, with their position.
Well, maybe we'll be the first, who knows?
I would be so proud.
All right, so we've, you seconded the motion,
I did.
Judy? So it's been moved and seconded. Vote, please.
I vote yes.
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 Motion carried.
Thank you, Gary.
So,
Item I.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
What about your second part of that? Or was
That
there
was
2
part of it.
parts? in
The resolution's just gonna have a
Okay,
1 and a 2.
okay, I got you.
And I think you sent that to me in Word, so I can just send the completed version to you in the morning.
Okay.
okay.
Now I can do I.
So item I, there's 2 budget amendments, so there'll be 2 motions. I'll go ahead with those. I'd like to make the motion to approve budget amendment for $39,613 out of the tri-party program to cover,
Gravel.
that was gravel, wasn't it?
Gravel.
For gravel?
Support?
Moved and supported. Vote, please.
All right. Mr. Salvia?
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, the next item is to amend the budget to cover the cost of a 5th application of chloride and grading for dust control in the amount of $15,000, and that'll be taken out of an expenditure line in the general fund under dust control.
Support?
General fund or road fund?
Road fund. The fund balance of the road fund.
It does say general in there.
Yeah, that should say,
It's road though.
Amy's a little bit,
One said road fund.
And then maybe.
huh?
Well, Rick said general.
It says
fund,
general
that's why.
fund and expenditures, that's what
But
I,
on the appropriation fund balance, it says road fund.
road fund, yes,
And the numbers. Road fund. Great.
yep. So it should be road fund, that's all right, we fixed it. All right, so that was a motion, and, any support?
I supported.
Okay, moved and supported, vote please.
Mrs. McDonald?
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, item number 9, list of bills for February 27th, 2018 and March 14th, 2018. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve bills is presented.
Support?
Moved and supported. Vote, please.
All right.
Are we going too fast for you?
Yes. Mr. Howe?
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, next item. I know there's somebody here that wants to speak tonight, so public comment? Woo-hoo. Thank you. All right, no public comment. We're gonna move on to adjournment, so at this time, adjourn this meeting. Thank you for coming, appreciate it.
I missed something?
Whoa.